Kalam cosmological argument. Here it comes. Get ready, because you're about to get stumped, Dillahunty.
Okay.
You got nothing on this. All right. So everything that and stop me if I say something you disagree with. Everything that begins to exist has a cause. The universe began to exist.
I stop you there?
I only got to the second one.
Yeah, well, I was stopping you after the first one.
What do you got?
Well, this idea, everything that begins to exist has a cause for its existence. Prove it.
No, that's just, if I can put on the Christian hat for a minute. Matt, that's just our obvious way of understanding the universe. Everything's cause and effect. If you do something, there is an effect that was caused by what you did.
Sure, that's a demonstration that we can identify causality, and that so far as we can tell, every effect is the result of the cause. But that doesn't mean that everything that begins to exist has a cause for its existence that's external. I mean, so...
Name one thing that doesn't have a cause.
So that's a fallacy as well. See, so first of all, this is the black swan fallacy of X is true because we haven't, or basically an argument from ignorance is that X is true because you can't prove that it's false. But let's look at the actual argument. The cosmological arguments used to begin with everything has a cause for its existence. And then people would say, well, then God must have a cause for its existence. And you would want to change the first premise to everything except for God has a cause for its existence, except that results in special pleading, where the very thing that you're trying to demonstrate, that there is an uncaused God, is something you just assert in the first premise. So in order to disguise that, they say everything that begins to exist has a cause for its existence. And, as Dan Barker's pointed out, that divides the universe, that divides reality into two categories. Things that began to exist and things that did not begin to exist. We have I can point to nothing that fits that second category. Nothing. I'm not aware of anything that did not begin to exist. It may be the case.
Wait. What are the two categories again?
Things that began to exist and things that did not begin to exist. So that second category of things that did not begin to exist, first of all, it can't be an empty set. It can't be, there has to be something in that set. Otherwise it's irrelevant. Why would you talk about an empty set? The other thing is, God can't be the only thing that's in that empty set. Otherwise, things that did not begin to exist is synonymous with God, which makes the first premise of the argument become all things except God have a cause, which makes it ultimately circular in that case.
Is it fair to call that devil's advocate if I'm being on Jesus' side whenever I'm trying to argue the point? I don't know if that term applies to Jesus' advocate. I don't know. But playing devil's advocate, if...
Well, the thing is, and I'll let you play devil's advocate, but the thing for clarity is this. The argument's now dead. An argument with a premise that is flawed is useless. Because if the premise is flawed, nothing about the argument can lead you to any conclusion. An argument in structure is valid if true premises lead to true conclusions. But when we're assessing the soundness of something, if there's a flaw in a premise, your argument is demolished. It doesn't mean that you're wrong. It just means that there's no point in continuing with the argument.